All right, all right, all right, all right. Welcome to Corporate Junky. I am your man, Corp J. And thank you all for joining me today. You have reached the channel that gives you a different spin on trending topics. We are going to have a really good show today. I want to talk to you guys about, you've seen the topic of today. So I'm going to talk about the behavior of people, okay? And then I'm going to tell you about afrobeat, why we are seeing afrobeat emerge today as it is, why we're seeing Nigerians particularly the subject matter or the talk of many people today. I'm going to tell you why Nigeria in particular is a key aspect of this whole thing. Okay, so this is going to be a very, very important video for a lot of people to really kind of take note on. It's going to shape your thinking and help you understand quite a few things. So let's jump right into this. Okay, so because I'm going to go over a lot of things, so let's just get right into it. So understand that the age that we're in right now, okay, and when I mean age, we're talking about the age of Aquarius is what we're in right now, which literally started right around the 20th century. Why is this important? I'm going to be talking to you about things in terms of age. Understand that time, weather, season occurs with age. Okay? So when I mean age, I'm thinking about, I need you to understand it in terms of, I'm going to use the 12 constellation of the zodiac to help you understand this. So we have 12 constellation of the zodiac, and you guys know what that is. So basically, you have your Capricorn, your Aquarius, the Pisces, all of that. That's called the 12 constellation of the zodiac. These things having this type of belief system and age operation is what really inspired the creation of the belief system that many of our religious texts got a lot of the ideology from. Okay, so basically, one age to another age is a period of 2,100 years. Right? For 2,100 years. So with each age comes a behavior. With each age comes a frequency change in the cosmos. With each age comes a new belief system. With each age comes a new ideology. Okay? So the old way of doing things was in the Piscean age, which is what we just left. Okay? That is the patriarchy. That is the law. This is how we got our laws. Religion played a lot of influence back in the days. Religion was important for that age because through religion, we're able to get the laws. We're able to know what's right and wrong. So that's occurred. The age that we're in, which is the age of robotics, which is where we have this fourth industrial revolution that we're in right now. The age of Aquarius has a lot to do with high intellect. Has a lot to do with high ability to think, govern, reason, think outside of the box. So essentially is the Enlightenment period, but in a new age. So understand that as the clock rotates, certain behaviors and phenomenons and practices really occur over and over again. So we are back to 17th century, if you will. Okay, we're back to the 18th century behavior of a new set of enlightenment, a new set of innovation and outside of the box thinking. So what that says basically, and where you fit in all of that, is that there is a need and there is an opportunity or a creating of a new sets of humanity that think in terms of science, in terms of logically, and not in terms of religion, which was highly influenced in the previous age that we were in. Now that is still lingering because we just came out of that, but we're going to be so far out of that we're in what's called a robotic age. Now, what does that mean for you in terms of opportunities? In the United States, there's a huge issue right now in terms of skilled labor. There's a huge issue right now in terms of having people fill positions because there's no enough skills to fill them, which is why certain industries have greatly been spurred up Okay, this is why we're talking about application, software development, science. We're talking about the metaverse. These things are occurring because of the age we're in and because of the phenomenon and the behavior and all of these things that occur when you get into a certain age, right? Now, the problem that's going on right now is that there are a lot of opportunities and things that have been created that the United States has made room for it, but they don't have skilled laborers to fill those things out. Skilled laborers that are in science, STEM fields, science, technology, engineering, and math. That is a problem in the United States. The United States has reached its peak in terms of productivity in the United States. The workforce, there's a 30% workforce in the United States that isn't skilled in these areas. These workforce are African Americans, which make 13% of the population, don't have the skills to compete or to really kind of survive in this new age of robotics and high intellectual innovation, science, technology, because of a lot of the education, a lot of areas of education that you find. And Pew Research Center did studies on this. It's not something I'm saying. Okay, Pew Research Center did a study on this. So the 13% of the population, which is roughly 44 million of citizens, a huge portion of that don't have the skill set for this. And then you have the 17% of the population, which are the Hispanics, also don't have the skill set for this. So that leaves the 33% of the population, which are mostly white, which most of them are the ones creating a lot of these skill sets that we have, a lot of the technology that we have. Then the issue now becomes, right, as we're moving into, understand that technology is changing how we live. So many of the jobs that you know today, many of the opportunities that you see, many of these buildings are not going to exist. We've moved out of the face-to-face interaction. We're now plugged into a online system of work. Okay, so what that means also is that while all of these jobs are being created, there's a need for skilled labor in terms of developers, in terms of engineers, in terms of critical thinkers, scientists, to really help to be part of this. That's why I say 30% of the population here isn't already set to be that. Okay, 30% of the population here has not equipped themselves, or they're not equipped to fill that, and that is a huge need in the market. So what does that mean now? So the US and most companies, and I know this because trust me, I've been in this field for over 20 years. A lot of my experiences is in the marketing area, digital marketing, digital solution. I'm part of these conversations that occur. It's a huge problem. Now, up until now, there's one market that has really kind of been used for software development outside of the United States, and that's been India. Okay, India has been primarily, a lot of the workers from India have been the ones used because a lot of their citizens have really kind of opted into a lot of the science, technology, software engineering, and math. Now, the issue with India, which India got the exposure to the US market back in the Bush administration. Okay, so the Bush administration literally opened up the offshoring of jobs to India. This is where we have a lot of the call centers that were really kind of sent to India. It was a huge problem in the United States back then. People rebelled against it. People spoke up against it because it denied US jobs. But for the need of cheap labor, and companies were trying to maximize profit and cut loss, which is primarily what most companies do, there was a need to really kind of offshore a lot of these jobs to India. Okay, so that has occurred. Now, what's going on now is that with the opening of software and technology, data centers, servers, and all of that, India, unfortunately, also has now been known as scam country. Okay, because a lot of the call centers were offshored to these countries, I should say, back in the days, they also just naturally got all of the all of the jobs that involved customer service, IT, all of that got to them. But over the years, there's been studies that have shown that it's not becoming a problem for US-based company, because many of the so-called call center was set up there have now been black hat. They've now started operating in more of like a cyber security threat type of thing. So it's a huge problem. So many companies are not pulling away a lot of their IT departments and IT solutions away from that, because it's a cyber security issue. Okay, so that's what's going on. Now, guess where else they're going? Africa. Specifically, Nigeria. That is the next thing you're going to see. This is why I brought you all through all of that to get you to this point. Now, why is Africa going to be the next one? Because I mentioned here in the United States, there's no skilled labor. In the United States, the percentage of Africans or Nigerians here in the United States make up 0.1 or 0.2%. I did a video about it where I covered and I talked about the research done by Pew Research that talked about the number of Nigerians in this country. So there are roughly around 400 to 500,000 Nigerians in the United States. Relative to the population of that country, it is basically just 0.1 or 0.2% of Nigerians represented in the United States. So it's not a lot. Of that small pocket of percentage, most of them, about 80% of those, are in the STEM field. Science, technology, engineering, and math. Okay? That is a field that these jobs are needed, but there's not enough Nigerians in this country to fill those jobs. There's not. The 0.2, 0.3 is not. But the good thing for Nigeria is that most Nigerians are in this field because that is what our parents drove us to do. And the great thing about it is that it sets you up for the opportunities in the future. So guess what's happening now is now that you are up. Okay, Nigerians are up. You know, when I mean you're up, you know, back in the days when they used to say, when the coach you're at a basketball game or a football game, and the coach tells you, hey, suit up, you're up, right? That's what that means. But the coach is not going to put you in the game if he or she knows that you've not been coming for practice, right? So normally this is where opportunity meets preparedness. That's basically what that is. So the U.S. market can't go to Europe, because guess what's going to happen? Because the European market are going to demand a salary that a lot of these new technology and a lot of this new application and this new wave of innovation are not going to be able to sustain on that technology. So when you're thinking about the economy of scale, understand that this is, when you're thinking about economy of scale, right? The decision to really add labor, which is basically what economy of scale is. The huge component of that is cost of labor. So you need to shrink labor cost to maximize profit. So a lot of these companies, in an attempt to make sure that they're getting the cheapest amount of labor, which is why a lot of the jobs were shipped to India, okay, to maximize profit. No, India no longer is a confident, viable source for a lot of this company because of cybersecurity issue. So the next cheap market, or the next least expensive market in terms of labor, is Africa. And why Africa is also a very attractive part, why Nigeria is, it's a population with highly skilled workforce and a young workforce. It's not going to go to China, because China has an aging population. 60% of China's population is the aging population. Okay? 60% of Nigerian workforce are more of a younger workforce. And a huge percentage of that are highly concentrated or highly motivated to be in technology. So Nigeria now today, as I talk, is known as a tech hub of Africa. I'm not just saying this. These are studies that have been written about this. This is why Microsoft opened its data center in Nigeria, in Lagos. This is why Google Fiber is investing heavily in that country. These people know this. They know that they need laborers. So there's a huge opportunity, a huge wave of opportunity coming. But they don't know that you have that skills. They know about the ones in the United States, but they don't have that overwhelming knowledge about it yet. But guess what is going to give them that? Afrobeat. Okay, so here's where Afrobeat is. Here's where Afrobeat comes in. Africa, especially Nigeria, needed to have one thing. There's one thing that Nigerians needed to have that the whole world can say yes to. Okay, there's one thing, one engagement, one event, if you want to call it, that Nigeria needed to have that the whole world can say yes to. God knows it's not the governance. God knows it's not the political situation. God knows it's not, because these are things that the world has written horribly about in terms of corruption, bad leadership. These are things that Africa is known for. The one thing that the whole world says yes to is Afrobeat. There's nowhere in the world today, as Afrobeat is making its way into the entire world, as Afrobeat is that phenomenon and that movement, just like the Enlightenment period, just like the Great Awakening that occurred in the late 17th century, 18th and 19th century. These phenomena that occurred were pivotal. They were catalysts that were pivotal to the realignment of human behavior that spurned a lot of what we went through the Industrial Revolution, the first wave, the second wave, and the third, now in the fourth Industrial Revolution. There was a catalyst that occurred. For Nigeria, it is Afrobeat. Let me tell you why that is. Because when you're thinking about Afrobeat in the way it is, think about the joy, the feeling that most people have. It's something that has now crossed boundaries. There's a lot of other culture, white folks, Asians, here in the United States, England, that have adopted Afrobeat. So what will happen eventually is that a lot of these people are going to leave their country and they're going to go to Nigeria to meet their favorite artist because of the concert. So basically the Afro Nation that's currently occurring right now in Ghana, that's owned by two Nigerians that started Afro Nation. I guarantee they'll move that from Ghana and they're gonna move it to Nigeria, because Nigeria now is a formidable, unavoidable market for a lot of these things. So Afrobeat is going to help the world. So here's the picture. So Davido, Wizkid, Burna Boy, and many of these other artists that are going to spawn up that are here today are going to pull people. They're not just only going to do concert here. They're going to have concert in Nigeria. Many of these people now that have adopted to Afrobeat, that love Afrobeat, are going to leave their country. And they're going to go to Nigeria to see these favorite artists. They're going to spend 4 days, 5 days for a 5-day concert. This is going to happen. This is probably what's already happening. During that period in time, they're going to learn things that they don't know about Nigerians. They're going to find out that you guys you have tech companies, Boomplay. They're going to see Boomplay over there. They're going to see a lot of these technology companies. They're going to find out that Nigeria is a tech hub of Africa. Guess what's going to happen in turn of that? You're going to have people leave and come back. And they're going to go to board meetings and they're going to decide on market penetration strategies. They're going to decide on how we need to maximize the talent pool in Nigeria. That's how that's going to happen. And so what's going to happen, they know this already. This is not something that's going to happen. This is what most companies are thinking about. I've had conversations about this with certain companies. I'm not going to go into all of that, right? So this is something that's already starting to take root. Now, here's why you're going to see this in the next 5 years. Here's why you haven't seen it overwhelmingly today. Here's why that is. But it's unavoidable. It's going to happen. Here's why. The United States, one of the great things about U.S. exceptionalism and one of the things about U.S. market is that when it comes to making decisions like offshore, decisions like global market penetration, U.S. and primarily the behavior of a lot of United States citizens, mostly white people, is they operate based on interest-based initiative. Okay, so what I mean by interest-based initiative, it's that it has to benefit the United States at the end of the day. This is why they're different from the rest of us. This is why we Africans, we can't match it, because most of the time we don't operate based on interest-based initiatives. So United States bases a lot of its decision based on how does this new opportunity, new market, how is it going to benefit the United States and its citizens at least 80% of the time. So here's why they haven't moved into that yet. The reason why they haven't moved into that, even while Africa is a viable, Nigeria is a viable option, attractive option, because it has a workforce that's highly skilled, that's already familiar with technology, that's highly motivated in a lot of the science, in areas I've talked about. I mean, I'm not just saying it. This is something that we all know this, right? So what they're going to start doing is offshoring a lot of the opportunity, just like they did to India. The reason why they're not doing that yet is because if they have to you have to pay you in US dollars, right? So what that happens is when they pay you in US dollars, right, is basically it takes away resources from the United States and in turn gives it to you, the country, because you're going to spend the money over there, right? So what happens is they're right now trying to mitigate that, to see how do we pay you without, how do I put this, without enriching your country. Now I said that very slightly. Let me go ahead and back up real quickly. Many people might think that and think, oh, that's racism. Okay? No, it's not. It's interest-based initiative. Okay, so understand a lot of the things that we call racism is not racism. Okay, it's U.S. looking out for its own. Okay, this is why also when you look at the Google Analytics, when you look at even YouTube, how YouTube pays CPM rates, Africa is paid very, very small compared to Western countries, because they have to make sure that a lot of the resources, because essentially what's going to happen is going to be a transfer of wealth, does not leave the United States and also get transferred to Africa. So when they're negotiating the salary, when they start doing it, because they're going to do this, this is not something that they're going to do this, but the way they're going to mitigate that is in the payout of salary. Okay, so that's how they're going to do it. They're still going to offshore those jobs to you. So a lot of the jobs are coming to you. So I guarantee you, a lot of the jobs are coming to you, because they need the workers, they need the skills, they need that, because investors investing in a lot of these application in the fourth wave that we're in, they can't afford to lose their money. So they're going to need software engineers. They're going to need people that have a motivation, that are already in this field, people that understand critical thinking. They understand this. They're going to need that skills. But now the area of paying you, how do we pay this? Okay. So they have to mitigate it. So maybe what's going to happen is they'll offer a certain salary that keeps a lot of the money still in the US and still incentivize you to work. Now, the question will be, should you accept it? The answer will be yes. You will need to accept that. So some of you that can negotiate your salary, great. What's also going to equally happen is a lot of diasporans, people like myself, who are highly skilled in this field, are going to be the first priority of people they're going to move from here to these countries, to Nigeria. Now, they know this, that they're going to have to pay me US-based, type of salary. They know this. They're going to have to pay me my worth, right? But they don't mind doing this, because guess what's going to happen? I'm going to be double taxed. So if someone like me is given the opportunity to go back to Nigeria, to go train, to do some training back home, right? I'm going to seize the opportunity, right? But at the same time, what's going to happen is I'm going to be double taxed, because I have to pay taxes here in the United States, right? And I have to pay taxes in Nigeria, so that's double tax. So they don't mind paying me my worth, because that money is going to come back here anyway, right? So they don't mind doing that, right? But for the for Nigerians in Nigeria, what's going to happen is that salary, that's incentive is going to have a huge disparity, because again, U.S. operates in an initiative-based ideology. Okay, so don't fault them for it. That's how they operate. It would do us good if we operated that way too. right? If we begin thinking that way, it'll do us the same good, because you need to keep your resources in your country, right? You need to keep your resources in your country. So that's where Afrobeat is playing a role. That's what Afrobeat is going to do. So don't worry about it. Don't worry about the government in Nigeria. Yes, I'm not naive to that. I'm not naive to the corruption in that country. I'm not naive to the horrible leaders. They are horrible leaders. But what's going to happen is the behavior of the people are changing. So Nigerians all over the world have become very advanced in their thinking. They're adapting a rebellious, in a good way, attitude. They're not waiting for their government to do things for them anymore. They're breaking boundaries, and they're doing and making ways for themselves. That's why you're seeing the vigor and you're seeing the energy with Afrobeats. And so what that's causing now is causing a new global perception, which is spawning a lot of confidence and a lot of global attention to the country, which is then going to make people look at the other skills that you have and pull a lot of the resources to you. So you're up. They're still going to keep a lot in the U.S. market, because understand they're not just going to take all the jobs and give it to you guys. So that's not what's going to happen, right? But for those that they can't fill in the United States, they're going to offshore that to make sure that they get the talent to fill that, rather than have vacancies that they can't fill. Okay, so that's my video today. Thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. I'm excited for what Afrobeat is doing for Nigerians. I'm excited for the opportunities that Afrobeat is creating for the world, and what that is going to in turn bring to Africa as well as Nigeria, most especially. So thank you all. Please share this video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and I will see you all next time. Bye-bye. All right, everyone, thank you so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed this short video and want to see the entire video, make sure to click on this link right here, and it will take you to it. Until next time, do not forget to like, share, and subscribe to this channel, and I'll see you all soon. Bye bye.